Hey guys, welcome to another video. We're going to talk about Locked today. Now, this movie was pretty interesting. It had some interesting concepts, but I want to break down sort of what made the movie good and what made it sort of not boring, but sort of feel like it almost. So, this movie has this guy, Eddie, played by Bill Skarsgård, who I think does a phenomenal job with the acting in this movie, given the very minimal sets and very minimal sort of kind of script to work with. I think he does really well. And so in this movie, Eddie has this daughter, and he sees her on the weekends, and he doesn't have much money, and he's trying to get money, basically any means necessary, and sort of robbing people, breaking into cars. That's just his regular thing. That's how he's getting money. And so in this movie, which I'm not going to talk about what was in the trailer because I actually didn't even watch the trailer before seeing this movie. But I would imagine the trailer would have featured him ending up in the car, getting locked inside of it, and hearing a voice through the screen, someone talking to him. And so that's my assumption. So in this movie, that is exactly what happens, is he's breaking into cars, and he breaks into the wrong one. Because this one ends up being locked completely by remote control. The whole car is remote control by this guy, William, played by Anthony Hopkins, who's actually, who's also a tremendous actor as well. He's been in so many projects, and he does well pretty much every single time. And in this movie, he has sort of a minimal role, or minimal presence for a majority of the first half of it, where you don't even see him. He's talking through the car, through the speaker, so you just hear his voice. And it's cool to see what Anthony Hopkins can do with just his voice. He's not even on screen, really, and you can feel his presence because of his acting, or really just his voice, I guess. And so he does a really good job. And this dialogue is sort of stretched for a little bit. There were definitely some parts that ended up boring, but basically the concept is William doesn't really like the way society is. He thinks people, they give and they take, and there's no real consequences for anything people do, whether it's how minimal or extreme the crime is. He thinks that people just don't really get punished properly by the police, by anyone. And so that's why he has this car to trap people inside, to basically teach them a lesson. Of course, Eddie's telling him, hey, let me out of the car. I'm sorry, call the police, turn me in, whatever. He just doesn't want to be locked inside. He's getting sort of claustrophobic, as personally I would. And William's just like, no, you're going to learn a lesson. You're just going to sit there with no food, no water, no bathroom. You're just going to sit there with your thoughts. And that's basically his whole intention. And there are different lessons William tries to give him throughout the movie, but that's how this sort of starts out. And so as Eddie is just swearing left and right, William doesn't like that. He has the chairs electrified. And he's just sort of, it almost becomes where he's torturing him, almost, keeping him locked inside, electrifying the chairs, and he's playing really loud, supposed to be annoying music, and he's turning the car, the heat, he's turning up the heat, then he's turning on the cold air, and he's just making him basically, he's torturing the guy, is what it is. So, as the movie progresses, Eddie is eventually, he's apologetic. He's saying, please, can I just have some water? Can I just have some food? And it turns from, I'm over this, let me out of the car, turn me, and I don't care, then turns into, please, just let me have some water. Just let me have something. It turns into this almost, this captive situation, because it's basically what it is. And so, as the movie progresses toward its third act, we see William takes him for a drive. He allows Eddie to think that he's now started the car, but William takes control of the car and is driving around the city, and actually he's sort of stalking his daughter, almost. But he's also going after this random guy that William, driving the car, ends up killing. At this point in the film, it almost feels like he isn't really this redeemable character. You can't really look up to William or appreciate what he's doing, because the torture aspect just becomes complete torture, and after he kills, he just becomes psychotic, basically. And so, as the movie has these messages of what is society really like, are people properly being punished, does the system work, how doesn't it, what could it be made to be, what could be done to make it better. It has some really interesting concepts for as far as the character is concerned, but as we get to the third act, it sort of becomes not an action movie, but it becomes almost this revenge story, because, well, Eddie's just trying to break into cars and, you know, it's illegal, but he's also just trying to get money for his kid, so at least he's not killing people like William is. But then William says, well, are the crimes really the same? We're both committing crimes. So it's very much a psychological sort of scenario that the characters are bringing up, and I think it does make some interesting points. But as we get to the third act, William finally appears for the last 5 minutes of the movie to Eddie, gets in the car with him. They're taking a drive, and Eddie ends up being able to turn the car over where he's messing with the switch underneath, and the car ends up flipping, and Eddie makes it out of the car before it burns. And so he finally gets to his daughter, finally, and there's a happy ending. He's a criminal, and he didn't really face any charges for what he's done, which is kind of the point William was trying to make. So overall, it was an interesting story. The dialogue was pretty neat. The acting was great. I thought the dialogue was interesting. It kept my interest. But the scenes of electrifying the chair, or turning the music up again, or him just wanting water, I felt like some of those aspects, or should I say the individual parts of those scenes, kind of dragged out a while, and it was repetitive. They did the same thing a few times. Him being electrified in the chair after swearing happened, it felt like every 5 minutes, and it was like a 2-minute scene every time. So it just felt like some parts were definitely dragged out. It definitely could have been probably 15-20 minutes shorter because of all that. But overall, I am happy with the overall movie. I thought it was interesting, some good acting. It was generic, but the concept was new. So overall, I appreciated it. If you see the trailer and you're kind of interested in it, I would check it out. See what you think for yourself. I liked it. I thought it was cool. Let me know if you guys saw it. Let me know what you think. Keep it digging. See you next time.